Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
So we are going to start in a standing position, but if you like just that ease of transition, maybe just position yourself so that when the time comes, you would just come finding your way down to constructive rest. But to start by just, even if you can, look down at your feet. We're going to place our feet slightly wider than hip width distance apart, and then lift your toes, lift your arches, spread your toes as much as you can, and then reset your toes down on the ground. Keep your arches lifted. Hands are going to find the hips, and you can still keep looking at your feet if you want to start, and then just start to bend one knee and then the other. And then take a moment just to glance. Did you lose any spread of your toes? Could you respread your toes? Could you keep your arches lifted? And then once you've done that tiny little reset, now can you bring your chin up just a little bit? Eyes are going to focus forward, and then you're going to find a single point in front of you where your eyes can rest. Your eyes are going to stay steady on that point, and you're just going to rock gently from side to side. And then once you've got that going on, if it feels good to change your hand position, bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Keep your knees bending. Keep your hips gently moving from side to side. Keep a nice toe spread. Keep a nice lift in the arches of your feet. Keeping your eyes focused on that single point in front of you. We're going to go for about 5 more cycles of breath if you can. And then the next time you come through center, pause there for a moment. Maybe let your chin tuck just slightly. Soften your gaze a little bit. Take a nice gentle breath in. Slow breath out. Notice your feet connected to the floor, and then hands are going to come back to our hips, and then we're going to take our hips and draw them in some gentle circles. So you're going to keep a slight softness to the knees. And now you may soften the grip in your toes, and you may soften the lift in your arch, just so that your feet, your toes, and your ankles move in a way that feels organic. All right, take one more circle around in this direction, and then when you're ready, reverse, go the other way. Awesome. Take one more circle around and then step your feet in. So now they're about hip width distance apart. We're just going to go hands to the knees, and we're just going to do a little bit of a roughing up of the knees. So we're just going to let our hands kind of rough up the front of the knees, maybe the sides of the knees. Let your knees kind of move with you. So all of this feels like just a sort of natural, organic bit of movement. And then we're going to take our hands to the backs of the knees. And here you might stay a little bit more steady and then just start to really rough up. What we want to do is increase that little bit of blood flow or any lymph blockage that might be there. So we just want to kind of rough up the backs of the knees with a light sense of more pressure upward. So if you're putting any pressure on, make more of the pressure coming into that upward grind. All right, take one more rough up of the backs of the knees, and now we're going to start to find our way down to constructive rest. So if you like, float your way down to the ground, settle your butt down, step your feet as wide as you like them to be, and then slowly and mindfully bring yourself down. And then once you're there, if you can, hands are going to come right to the belly. Nice, good spread of the fingers. Knees are going to drop in towards each other. Take a nice, generous breath in. Slow breath out. Now take a moment to let your awareness come down to your feet. If you need to reset your toes or reset the arches of your feet or reset your heels, get everything positioned so it feels very effortless. And then once you've found that effortlessness down at your feet, we're going to tune in just to the knees again. And now we're going to gently brush the knees against each other. So think windshield wiper action, but it's super small and it's really about that focus right at the knees. So your one knee is just going to brush past the other and then take it to the other side. And we want that contact if we can. Take one more brush of the knees past each other. And then when you're ready, we're going to walk the heels in. So now we're going to bring the heels in so that they're about hip width distance apart. Knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. Hands either on the belly or hands on the hip points. That'll be just wherever your handhold feels more comfortable. Take it into some light pelvic tilts. Press your low back into the ground. Relax to the natural curve of your back. And just take a few times through. And don't even worry about the breath necessarily. Just finding that nice little tilt. Press the low back down, release to the natural curve of your back, and just let it be sort of a loose, non-specific movement so that it feels just like a little bit of a waking up of the back and the hips. All right, one more tilt to the pelvis, and then the left knee is going to stay bent. Arms are going to come out in anatomical position, so about 45 degrees away from the body with the palms facing up. And then once you found your arms in place, now we're going to slide the right leg. So we're going to slide the right leg down to the end of your mat. And then once it's down at the end of your mat, it's going to relax out. So we're going to reduce all efforting. You pause in that reduced efforting, bring it back up so the toe and the knee are pointing up towards the ceiling. Slide the leg back in. Slide the leg back out. We're going to go nice and slow. And then the foot falls out, reduce all efforting. So that means relax all the muscles that you can, and then bring it back in. Toe and knee towards the ceiling. Slide that leg in. Slide the leg back out. Let the foot fall out, reduce all efforting. Bring it back up, sliding in. Slide it back out. Let the foot fall out, reduce all efforting. Foot and knee up towards the ceiling, slide the foot in. Slide the foot back out. Let the foot fall out, reduce all efforting. Toe and knee point up towards the ceiling, slide the foot in and stay here. And now we're going to take it to the other side, sliding the left leg out. Let the toe fall out, reduce all efforting. Toe and knee point up towards the ceiling, slide the foot in. Slide the foot back out. Let the toe fall out, reduce all efforting. Bring it back in. Slide it back out. Let the foot fall out, reduce all efforting. Bring it back in. Slide it back out. Let the foot fall out, reduce effort. Bring it back in. Slide the foot out. Let the foot fall out, reduce all efforting. Bring it back in. And now we're going to take a moment to just take 3 pelvic tilts. So press your low back into the ground. Relax to the natural curve of your back. Press your low back down. Relax to the natural curve of your back. Do that one more time. Press your low back down. Relax to the natural curve of your back. Now we're going to slide the right leg out. And then as we slide the right leg out, we're going to pause for a moment just to make sure everything feels good. And then if it feels comfortable, left leg is going to slide out to meet. And then once you've got the left leg out, now we're going to play around with the right leg again, but the left leg is going to stay long with the toe and the knee pointing up towards the ceiling. And then I'll tell you when you'll relax and reduce all efforting. So we're going to slide the right leg up, but now we're going to slide the right heel out to the side. So think like you're trying to bring your right heel towards the side of your butt. So slide it out in sort of a half circle. Drop your knee in towards your left thigh. Bring your knee back up. Slide your leg back down to that starting position. Let both feet fall out. Reduce all efforting. Bring the toes back up and in. Now we're going to go for the left leg. Left leg is going to slide out up towards the left side of your butt. So it swings out to the edge of your mat. Let the knee drop in towards the right thigh. Pick the knee back up. Slide that leg back to the end of your mat. Once both feet are at the end of the mat, let the feet fall out. Reduce all efforting. Bring it back in. Slide the right leg out and up. So it's coming to the outside of your mat towards the right side of your butt. Let your knee drop in towards your thigh. Pick the knee up, slide that leg out to the end of your mat. Reduce all efforting. Bring it back together. Slide the left leg up and out. So it's in that half circle towards the outside of your hip. Let the knee drop in towards your thigh. Pick the knee back up, slide that leg out nice and long. Let both feet fall out. Both feet come back in, slide the right leg up and out. So it comes in that half circle position. Let the knee drop in towards the thigh. Bring it back up, slide the leg long. reduce all effort and let both feet fall out. Bring it back in. Slide the left leg up and out. Let that left knee drop in towards the right thigh. Pick the knee up, slide the leg long. Let both feet fall out, reduce all efforting. Both feet are going to come up towards the ceiling and then just gently step your feet back in. We're coming back to those brush knees. So once you've got yourself repositioned, brush your knees past each other, just that nice gentle windshield wiper action. As you do this nice little windshield wiper action here, you're just going to start to notice the placement of your feet. So if you want your feet to be slightly wider, because we're going to come back to that constructive rest of the bottom half of the body is going to reduce efforting. So reposition your feet in a way that feels sensible. And then once you've got your feet repositioned, now just let your knees drop in towards each other, relax your inner thighs, relax your knees, reduce as much efforting in the bottom half of the body as you can. And now we're going to bring hands down alongside the body and we're going to go for a little palm flip. So one palm is going to flip up, one palm is going to flip down, but we're going to keep the hands resting on the ground. So right palm down, left palm up, left palm down, right palm up. And then we're going to alternate between the two. So you're just going to start to let the palms roll. Let the movement come slightly out from the shoulders. Notice your upper body, notice your chest, notice your ribs. If your chest and your ribs are trying to lift slightly or help the movement happen, let them do what they want to do. And now we're going to add a little head turn. So when your palm is flipped down facing towards the ground, that's where your head is going to turn in that direction. So let's say right palm is flipped down, turn your head to the right. Head returns to center, flip your palms, and then the head turns to the left as the left palm flips down. And now we're going to alternate between those two. Palm flips down, head turns, palm flips down, and the head turns the other way. And then just take it at a nice, slow, mindful, gentle pace. Take your time. The next time your right palm flips down and your head turns to the right and the left palm is up, stay there for a moment with an extra cycle of breath, like you're really trying to push your right cheek down towards the ground. Find that little sense of tension and then release. Flip the left palm down, right palm up, turn your head to the left, and then imagine you're trying to reach your left cheek down towards the ground. So just a slight bit of efforting. And then when you're ready, release. Both palms are going to flip up, facing up towards the ceiling. Take little micro turns of the head side to side just to soothe out the head and the neck. And then once you've soothed out the head and the neck, arms are going to come up into cactus or goalpost position. Once you've got that cactus or goalpost position, reposition your ribs so that everything feels good in the upper back body. And now we're going to do arm slides. So right arm is going to slide up like you're reaching for something above your mat. And then reach that arm back down to shoulder height. Now left arm is going to lift up and reach. Slide that left arm up, a little pendiculation, like you're reach, and then pull that arm down, elbow in line with the shoulder. Slide your right arm up, get a little reach. Pull that arm back down, elbow in line with the shoulder. Left arm slides up, get a little reach. Release it back down. We're going to go one more time each side. Right hand's going to slide up, get a little bit of pendiculation or that yawning stretch, and then release it back down. Left hand is going to slide up, get that little yawning stretch, and then release it back down. And now we're going to go both arms for that little bit of an upper body yawn. So stretch both arms up and overhead, get that little bit of yawning reach, let the ribs lift, let the back lift just as much as it wants to. And then when you're ready, float your hands back to that anatomical position. And now we're taking it into some big, generous windshield wipers. So as much range of motion as you can find. Shift the knees from side to side. Let your hips move with you. Let your back move with you. Let the rib cage move with you. If it's feeling good to do so, maybe you'll add a head turn in the opposite direction of your knees. Nice. Take one more windshield wiper each way. We're going to toe heel the feet in so that they're about hip width distance apart. And then we're going to take it back into pelvic tilt. So go for 3 pelvic tilts. Press your low back into the ground. Release to the natural curve of your back. Press your low back into the ground. Release to the natural curve of your back. Press your low back into the ground. Release to the natural curve of your back. Pull your right knee towards your heart space, little hand hold. Take your knee, draw it in a couple of circles, circle in one direction. Circle your knee the other way. Cool. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we'll go for a little bit of a mindful one for the first one, and then as much intention as you want for the next. So you're going to lift your foot up just enough so that you can slide your hands in the space between the back of your knees. So hands are going to just stack underneath your knee pit, and then you're just going to soften the leg down and then take a moment to tune in. Notice how that feels on the back of the knee. And then if it's feeling good, you're going to put a little bit of oomph into it, and then you're going to drive your heel towards your butt. So you're going to feel a little bit of a squeeze of your hands between that space. If you get there and you're like, that's as much as I need in a soft position, you're going to stick with that softness. So softness or with a little bit of intention driving the heel, you choose your own adventure here. Find the thing that feels really good. And one side might totally feel different from the other. So don't feel like you have to be symmetrical on this one. Squeeze your heel in or keep it soft. Take one more moment just to find that little squeeze of intention or that softness. And then release. Let your hands go, float that foot down. We're going to take it right to the other side. Pull your left knee towards your heart. Take that knee in a hand hold, draw it in circles, circle in one direction. Take your knee and draw it in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, come to a stillness, lift the foot up just enough that you can stack your hands underneath that knee pit, and then let the foot soften down. Pause for a moment with the softness and just notice. So one side might be very different from the other. So honor this side. If it feels good to add that little bit of an intentional push, like you're squeezing your heel and you're getting a little bit of compression of your hands connected to the knee pit, or you're going to keep it soft and loose, you're going to find the work here that makes the most sense to you. Take one or two more moments just to find it. Lovely. And then when you're ready, soften and release. Now we're going to keep that knee up, but release your hands from that knee bend. Pull your right knee up to meet, knees together, toes together. Take your knees and draw them in a couple of gentle circles, circle in one direction. Circle the other way. Great. And now we're going to walk on the ceiling. So we're going to float our feet up towards the sky, hands wherever you like them the best. And then you're just going to start to step like you're taking steps on your ceiling. Bend your knees, push through your foot with as much speed or as much intention as feels good. So kind of tune in and notice, how do the backs of your legs feel? How do the backs of your thighs feel? Do your hamstrings feel like they need just a little bit more time to warm up and find a little bit of length? Give your body the time that it needs. And now see if you can walk forward just a little bit, like you're trying to start walking towards the corner of your ceiling. And now see if you can walk on the corner of your ceiling. And now we're going to walk down the wall just a little bit. And now walk down the wall just a little bit more. And then now walk down like you're trying to walk on the corner of where the floor meets the wall. All right, now start to walk back up the wall. Walk up just a little bit higher. Walk up to where the wall meets the ceiling. Walk up onto the ceiling just a little bit. Walk it up a little bit further so that you're walking on the ceiling proper. Take one more moment here, and then take it into legs up the wall. Find a little bit of stillness, soft bend in the knees. Check your back, make sure everything feels good, and then take it right into a point and flex of the feet with a little bit of intention. So pull your toes towards your heart, reach your toes away. Give a little time here to work through the muscles of the feet, stretching in one direction and then stretching the other way. Nice. One more point and flex of the feet. And now we're going to go clap the feet or prayer feet together. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and then relax the feet out and away from each other. Bring the soles of the feet together. Bring the feet out and away from each other. Bring the soles of the feet together. Bring the feet out and away from each other. Go for two more if you can. Bring the soles of the feet together. Bring them out and away. Bring the soles of the feet together. Bring them out and away. And then we're going to pull the knees gently towards our heart space. Give yourself a little gentle squeeze and then re-grab the backs of the thighs. And we're going to take a Take a little time, rock and roll your way up. So take some time to rock through the back of your body. Think of this as a light massaging action for the spine. And then when you feel ready and you've caught a little bit of momentum, come up, and then we're going to set ourselves right up into a zigzag seat. So swinging your legs out to one side, zigzag seat or deer seat, whatever you like to call it, but get your legs out to one side and then pause for a moment and just notice. Notice how your knees feel. Make sure that they feel comfortable. Notice how your hips feel. Make sure that they feel comfortable. Do you want a cushion underneath your thighs or your hips? And then offer any little props or cushions that might feel good. And now we're going to walk forward a hip hinge, going about one step forward. So just a micro fold here, not full range of motion, not going to our edge, but just finding a little bit of sensibility in the side of our hip. Take a moment to notice. All right, and then when you're ready, come out of that fold just enough. We're going to swing the legs out in front, nice bent knee position. Take a second to just kind of settle into your sitting bones and then pick up the backs of your thighs like you're going for a little bit of a modified boat. So barely even lifting the legs up the ground, but just finding that little tipping point. And then once you've found that tipping point, take one more breath. And now we're going to shift it over to the other side. So we're going to take it right into that deer seat or zigzag seat to the other side. Give a moment here. One side might feel different from the other, and one inner thigh might feel different from the other, one knee or hip might feel different from the other. So give it a moment to just see where you're at. And then once you feel like you know where you're at, come forward that one step. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, walk yourself back out, swing your legs back around, feet on the ground, grab the backs of your thighs, lean back into your sits bones, lift the legs up, find that little bit of a balanced point. And now we're going to do little pumps of the feet. So you're going to lift the feet up just a little bit, and then let the heels lower just a little bit. Lift the heels up just a little bit. Lower the heels just a little bit. Lift the heels just a little bit. Lower the heels just a little bit. We're going to do one more and then take it right into an easy seat. Lift the heels. And as you lower the heels, crisscross your heels, release your legs right into that Sukhasana or easy seat. Once you've got Sukhasana or easy seat, take a twist to one side. Keep that twist to the side, but soften it up just a little bit. And then we're going to draw some circles with our ribs. So you're going to stay in a twisted position, but start to circle your ribs. And if you can here, try to imagine that it's your skin that's making everything move. So almost imagine that you're using the skin and the side of your ribs and the side of your body to help make this movement happen. Take one more circle around and then reverse directions, go the other way. Nice. Take one more circle around, and then when you're ready, release your twist. Take it all the way over and across to the other side. Pause in your twist. Take a breath. Beautiful. And then soften up your twist just enough so that you have some room to move, and then start to circle your ribs in direction. And then see here, can that intention that the skin is the thing that's making the movement happen. Take one more circle around, and then when you're ready, reverse, go the other way. Take one more circle around. And then when you're ready, release, come back to center. Take 3 cat-cows here. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your chin. Exhale, round your back, round your shoulders, tuck chin to chest. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your chin. Exhale and round your back. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to round your back. And then as we find a neutral spine, we're going to start to find our way up to a tabletop position. So flippity-do your way on up in any way that makes sense to you. Once you found your tabletop position, we're going to take it into those bop of the hips from side to side. So just drop your hips to one side, drop your hips over to the other side, and then tune in here and notice, how do your kneecaps and your shins feel about this work? If you think a little cushion under your kneecaps or shins would feel beneficial, maybe take a moment to get a little prop, tuck it under your knees and your shins. All right, one more bop of the hips from side to side, and then we're going to step the knees slightly wide. So go just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. We just want a slightly wide base of support. And then we're going to go for a puppy pose, but we're going to keep it wide. So keep your knees slightly wide, walk your hands out wide and forward. Let your chest and your forehead soften down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then we're going to come back up, and then we're going to take it even wider. So we're going to walk the knees out just a little bit further. So reposition yourself so that you can walk your knees out wider. Let the toes and the knees be fairly in line with each other. But now we're going to pull the butt back a little bit. So butt is going to come back towards the heels. So think a little childish puppy, right? Like a little bit of an intention towards a child's pose, a little bit of an intention towards a puppy pose. Walk your hands out wide, knees are wide, heart softens down, forehead soften down. And then take 5 nice deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring it back up and in. So we're going to walk the hands in, we're going to walk the knees in, we're going to start to find our way back to that more traditional tabletop shape. And then once you've got the tabletop shape, you're going to step your right hand in just a little bit to clear some space. And then you're going to step your right foot up like you're going for your 90-90 lunge, and then step it back to table, and we'll switch to the other side. Left hand's going to step in a little bit, clear your space. Left foot steps up, steps back. Right hand slides in, step the right foot up, step the right foot back, reposition for the other side, left foot steps up, left back. Now we're going to go right leg and stay there for a moment. So step your right foot up, and now we're going to pick up the right hand, and we're going to try to touch the right elbow towards the ground, and then pick the elbow back up. Touch your right elbow towards the ground, pick it back up, touch your right elbow towards the ground, and now we're going to pick the elbow up towards the sky, stretch your arm up towards the sky, look up towards the sky, take a breath. Beautiful. Plant that right hand down, step your right foot over to the other side. Left foot's going to step forward, find the lunging position first. Now that left hand, left elbow is going to touch to the ground and pick it back up. Touches to the ground, pick it back up. Left elbow touches to the ground, pick it all the way up. Reach it up to the sky, reach your hand up to the sky, look up to the sky. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release. We're going to step that left leg back, slide your right leg back, toes curled under, and take a few rocks forward and back. Nice. One more rock forward and back, and then we'll switch to the other leg. Slide the right leg in, slide the left leg back, toes curled under, take a few rocks forward and back. Beautiful. One more rock forward and back, and then we're going to play through one portion of our flow just to make sure that we kind of get it in a nice little groove, and then we'll throw it into our full intentional flow. So if you feel ready, just come down onto your belly. Take your time as you come down, a loose configuration with your arms, because you're going to just kind of feel around on how your arms are going to navigate this space. We're going to start with going for that flapping fish. So we're going to slide the right knee up, hug it up towards your elbow, hug your elbow towards your knee. So we go into that flapping fish position. From flapping fish, we're going to roll over into a thoracic twist. So you're going to keep the right knee up. You're going to slip that left hand through and then roll open into a twisted position, reaching your right hand back. Coming through center, slide that right leg back. And as we come through center, we're going to take a little mini cobra. So inhale as you gently lift, just to create a little space through the back of the body. Exhale, slowly lower down, slide the left knee up, flapping fish to the other side, left elbow towards the left knee. And then we slip that right hand, prepping for that thoracic twist. Left arm opens up and reaches back. And then release nice and slow, come through center, slide the left leg nice and long. Reposition through center, and then once you're in that center position, one low cobra. Lower with control, push your way up to tabletop position. Take a pause in your tabletop position. Just for a moment here, good intention, even pressure down into your hands and down into your knees, and a slight double tuck of the chin. Beautiful. Now tuck toes under, take a couple little rocks forward and back. Nice. Now the next time your butt comes back towards your heels, not all the way back, but just enough that you feel a little bit of pressure down into your feet. Now we're going to push into the toes, like you're trying to push your butt away from your heels by using the strength in your toes and the bottoms of the feet. So push into the pads of your feet and then release. Push into your toes and release. Push into your toes and release. Do 2 more if you can. Lovely. And then soften that up just enough that shoulders come in line with the wrists. Lift your knees up into a hovering table and right up into a down dog. Nice loose down dog. Pedal out your feet just as much as feels good. And as you start to pedal out your feet, see how does it feel to walk your hands a little bit wider towards the outer edges of your mat. Take one more pedal of each leg, and then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a soft ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, a good, nice wide space between your legs, a nice, big, generous bend in your knees. And then once you've got your way there, if it feels available, grab hold of your elbows, let your spine get nice and heavy here. Now we're going to make sure that we feel really secure in this work. So we're going to start by just floating our fingers down to the ground, and then we're going to start a little bounce of the knees. But once we start to bounce the knees, you're going to tune in and notice, how does your back feel about this work? How does your head feel? How does your neck feel? How does your spine feel? If you can keep that bounce going, then you're going to let your hands hover a little bit, and you're going to let that bounce come into your arms a little bit. But you want to make sure that you feel secure and stable in your position so that that bouncing is not making you dizzy. It's not compromising your balance, and it's not hurting your back in any sort of way. And then once you feel like you've got just enough bounce going on, you're going to let everything come to stillness, float your fingers back down to the ground. Get soft and heavy here, maybe slightly deeper into that ragdoll fold if it feels good. Take a breath. On your next inhale, we'll take it into a half forward fold. So inhale, slide your hands up to the shins, bring a little bit of life into the back of the body, and then exhale, soften everything back down. Inhale, half forward fold, hands glide up to the shins. Exhale, soften back down. One more time. Inhale, slide your hands up to the shins. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees. Push with intention into your feet. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. And then we're going to reach both arms up. And now we're going to go, one arm is going to reach like it's reaching for something up in the sky. And then the other arm is going to reach like it's reaching for something else. So your arms are just going to kind of move in a slightly organic way. But both arms are going to stay up. So we want the shoulders up. And then reach one hand up and then the other. We want the ribs to move with. We want your head to move with. We want to notice the slight change in pressure in our feet as we lift one arm up and then the other. And then as you start to get a little bit of a rhythm here, now you're going to notice your head posture. Are you gazing down at the floor? Can you lift your head as if you're trying to look to your hand as you reach up towards the ceiling? And now we're going to try to go for that sensation of reaching with our skin. So imagine that you're just trying to reach something that's on a high shelf, way past the reach of your hands. But if you stretch just far enough, you could grab it, and you're looking for it as well. So your head is looking up, your arm is reaching up, and we're creating length through the side of the body. Take one more reach each side. And then when you come through center, you're going to exhale, pull the arms down into cactus or goalpost position, pull the elbows back, lift your chest, lift your chin. And now we're going to keep our arms in cactus or goalpost position, but soften the ribs and soften the heart. And now we're going to just pull the palms back, like somebody's giving you a big high five, and the palms pull back, but the elbows stay in line with the shoulders. And then release. Palms pull back, elbows stay in line with the shoulders. And release. Palms pull back, elbows stay in line with the shoulders. release. And now we're going to float the hands to the low back, palms facing out. And now we're going to go arms back, elbows, arms return, elbows return, elbows back, arms back, hands return, elbows return, elbows back, arms back, hands back, elbows return, elbows back, arms back, hands back, elbows return. One more time through, elbows back, arms back, hands come back, elbows return. Soften your hands down. And now we're going to come back to those palm flips. So one palm flip up, one palm flip down. And then once you've got that little bit of a rhythm going on, we'll add the head turn. So as one palm flips back, that's where your head is going to turn. So if your right palm is flipping back, turn your head to the right. Left palm flips back, turn your head to the left. Add that little alternating pattern. Go nice and slow. Just find a little bit of a rhythm. Wonderful. Take one more time each side. And then when you're ready, come back to center, take it into a light little bounce. We're just going to get that little lymphatic bounce happening. Super good for the lymphatic system, super good for the nervous system, and just sometimes feels energizing. It can feel good. So get it into a little bounce. Let that bounce come up into your arms, up into your shoulders, up into your heart space. Maybe you feel your triceps, the backs of your arms getting a little bounce and a jiggle. Let everything have a moment to just find that little bit of lovely vibration. And then when you feel ready, let it come to stillness. Feel your feet connected to the ground. Reach up through the top of your head. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. To soften down, we're going to step the right leg back to a 90-90 lunge. So bring that knee down, lift your sweep your arms up and overhead, and then we're coming right back down. So float your hands down to the ground, slide that right leg back a little further, deeper low lunge, lift your chin, plant your palms, and now we're going to step right back to downward facing dog. So slide that left leg back, take your down dog, take a moment, take a breath, and now come forward into a planking position. But once you've found that planking position, soften your knees down, gently lower onto your belly, right into flapping fish. So right knee is going to slide up, right elbow is going to reach towards the knee, slip through, take that left hand reaching underneath, open up into that thoracic twist. Right hand reaches open and back, take a breath. Come back through center as you slide that right leg back to the end of your mat. As you come through center, take one low cobra. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Slide the left knee up. Flapping fish to the other side. Left knee. As you slip that right hand, open up into that thoracic twist, reaching the left hand back. Bring it back in. Slow and controlled. Sliding the left leg down to the end of your mat. Come through center, take one low cobra. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down, push your way up to tabletop position, curl the toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a soft fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down. Left leg back to that 90-90 lunge. So the knee comes down. Lift your arms up. And then we float right back down. Frame the front foot. Slide that left leg back just enough so we go into that deeper low lunge. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Beautiful. Now plant your palm. From downward facing dog, take it forward into a plank, but just to the plank, and then float your knees down, lower down onto your belly. Now we're going to start with the left side. Left elbow and knee are going to slide in, flapping fish. Slip, open up into your twist. Bring it back to center, sliding the left. Over here, inhale as you lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down, flapping fish to the other side. Right knee is going to slide up and in, right elbow towards the knee. Slip that left hand through and underneath. Open up into your twist. Bring it back through center as you slide that right leg back. Once you're in center, take one low cobra. Inhale, lifting your heart up. Exhale to lower down, push your way up to tabletop position, curl your toes under, exhaling up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. And then take a moment here in your mountain pose just to notice. Notice how your body feels. Notice your breath. Wonderful. When you're ready, inhale, arms up, hands meet, chest lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Now we're going to step the right leg back to that low lunge. So step the right leg as far back as you lower the knee. Lift your up and overhead. Sink into your hips. Lift your chest. Open your arms into cactus or gold post position. So just a little bit more opening through the heart space. And now we're going to bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Drawing the knuckles towards the heels. Open up through your chest. Pause here for a moment and just notice your breath. Beautiful. Unlace your fingers, float your arms up and overhead. Just get a little lift of your gaze and then float your hands down. Frame your front foot. Curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up. Slide that front leg back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, take it forward into planking position. Once you've hit that planking position, gently lower your knees down, lower onto your belly, flapping fish over to the right. Pull that right knee in, right elbow towards the knee, slip that left hand through, open up into your twist. Take one more breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, return through center as you slide that right leg back. Now we're going to pause in the center and take a little bit more of an intentional. So come through center, nose to the ground. Now we lift the nose, lift your eyes, lift your gaze, lift your chest, lower your chest, lower your eyes, lower your gaze, nose to the ground. And now we're going to take that flapping fish over to the other side. Slide that left knee in, left elbow towards the knee, through, up into that thoracic twist. Pause there for a moment, take an extra breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, come back through center, sliding the left leg long. I'm going to take that slightly more intentional cobra pose. So nose to the ground, hands alongside your shoulders. Now we're going to lift the nose, lift your eyes, lift your gaze, lift your chest, maybe come up just a little bit higher. Feel that muscle action in the back of the body. Lower nice and slow and controlled. Let the nose touch down to the ground. And then when you're ready, push your way up to tabletop position. Curl your toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to half. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, hands meet, chest lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Now we're stepping the left leg back to that low lunge position. So step it way back or as far back as feels good. Bring the knee down, release your toes. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Take your arms into cactus or gold post position. Sink a little deeper into your hips if it feels good to do so. And now bring those hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Draw the knuckles down towards your heels. Get a little squeeze between the shoulder blades. A nice opening through the heart. Maybe a slight lift in your chin. Beautiful. Unlace your fingers. Float your hands down to the ground. Curl the back toes under. Pick that back knee up. Slide that front. From downward facing dog, take it forward into your planking position. Lower your knees, gently lower down onto your belly. Flapping fish to the left. Slide that left knee in, elbow to the knee, right to your twist. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, slowly take your time coming. Go for drunken serpent. So rather than that intentional cobra, now hands are going to come off the edges of your mat. Inhale and lift your heart up nice and high. Exhale and lower down. Take it over to the left. Inhale, lift and look over your left shoulder. Exhale to lower down. Take it over to the right. Lift and look over. Exhale to lower down. Come back through center. Take a breath. Inhale, lift your heart up nice and high. Exhale, lower down. Now we're going to take flapping fish over to the right. So slide that right knee up and in, right elbow towards the knee. Slip that left hand through and underneath. Right hand's opening up into that twist. And then we're hanging out there about 3 cycles of breath. When you're ready, slowly bring it back through center. Slide that right leg back. Roll your hands on in. Back to that drunken serpent. So hands off the edges of your mat. Inhale, lift your heart up nice and high. Exhale to lower down. Take it over to the right. Inhale, lift your right shoulder, look over. Exhale to lower down. Take it over to the left. Inhale, lift and look over. Exhale to lower down, back through center. Inhale, lift your heart up nice and high. Exhale to lower down, slide your hands in. We're going to push our way up to tabletop position. Once you're in your tabletop position, we're just going to spin the legs around right into a zigzag seat or into our deer seat. So you're going to reposition. So one leg is in front, one leg is out to the side. And now we're going to go to our edge of our fold here. So make sure your legs feel good, cushion anything that you want to, and then walk yourself out as far as feels comfortable. Find your edge and then soften into it. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, come up nice and slow. As we release, we're going to come through center for a forward fold. So we're going to swing those legs out in front of us, nice and long, legs as straight as you like them to be. Always micro bend the knees, especially if it kind of zings you up into your bum. So we want to make sure we keep a nice line of energy through the back of the body, but nothing painful. So take a nice big breath up and overhead, get that nice long reach. And then as you exhale, reach towards your feet. It does not matter if you can touch your feet, but we do want to create some length through the front of the body. Once you found that little bit of length and space, soften a little bit into the back of the body, tuck your chin down, take a breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, come up nice and slow. Now we're taking our zigzag seat or our deer seat over to the other side. So swing your legs around, get yourself positioned. One side might be different from the other. So cushion anything that wants it. And then once you feel like you're in a good position, now we're walking out to our fold, but go out to your edge. So go as far as feels comfortable to go. Wonderful. When you're ready, slowly and mindfully bring yourself back up and out of that fold. We're swinging the legs out in front of us again. So find that nice long leg position, bending the knees as much as feels good. Inhale, lifting up and then think up and over. Exhale, reach towards your feet. Doesn't matter if you can touch your feet, but if you can touch your feet, how lovely. Take a moment here, take a breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, slowly come up and out of that fold. We're going to scooch the butt forward, bent knee position, and we're going to work our way right down towards a Bananasana. So bend your knees. Once you're down on the ground, shift your hips over to the right. Step your feet over to the left. So feet are going to be down at the left-hand corner of your mat. Hips are going to be over to the right. And then arms are going to stretch up and overhead to the top left corner of the mat. Once you're there, take a moment to just find a little bit of length and reach through the side of your body. Take one more breath. Releasing nice and slow. So take your time as you come through center, step your feet in, reposition your hips, maybe even pause in the center, make sure things are feeling good. And now we're going to shift it all to the other side. So shift your hips over to the left, Walk your feet down to the right, arms up and overhead to the right. So we get that crescent shape on the left side of the body. Once you're there, get a little bit of length and reach through the side of the body and then come back to your breath. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly bring it all back to center, stepping the feet in. So we're in that bent knee position. Once you've got yourself back to center, we're going to take the right leg across the left, go right into a figure four, lifting the right leg up, come all the way close to your heart. So find your edge close to your heart space. Find your edge at that move away point. So just to the point where you couldn't hold on to your leg any further, and then find that middle point. So not too far, not too close. Soften your shoulders, soften your abdomen, take a breath. One more breath. But as we release, we're going to take it into a reclined hand to big toe pose. You're going to take your peace fingers of your right hand, so index, middle finger of your right hand. You're going to catch hold of your right big toe. So get your little toe hold. And then as you release, left leg is going to step down into a bent knee position and right leg is going to scoot up towards the sky. We want to feel a little bit of a tension in the back of the thigh muscle, not too much in the back of the knee, not too much in our butt. So see if you can find that nice, happy place where the knee is generously bent. You're feeling that little bit of tension. And then could you get a firm handhold of your big toe? And then could you imagine that you're pushing your big toe into your fingers as if you're trying to kick your foot away from your hand? Find that little bit of tension and then release. Find that little bit of tension and release. Do that one more time. Find that little bit of tension and then release. Set that foot down. And we're going to set our figure four up right to the other side. So right foot's going to touch down. Left leg is going to come across the right. Pause for a moment. Make sure things feel good. And then lift the right leg up. Thread your hands through. Pull it as close to your heart space as feels available. Move it as far away from your body before you lose your grip. And then find that middle point. So not too far, not too close. Soften your abdomen, soften your shoulders. Beautiful. And then before we release, we're going to take that hand to big toe pose. So take your left peace fingers, index finger, middle finger, grab hold of that left big toe, float your right foot down to the ground as you float your left foot up to the sky. As much of a bend in that left leg as feels good. So we want to find that tension in the back of the thigh, not too much in the back of the knee, nothing in the butt if we can help it. And then once you've got your way here, pause for a moment, take a breath. Notice your handhold of your big toe. Now, can you put that little bit of tension as if you're trying to push with your big toe, kicking the leg down towards the ground and the hands creating a little tiny bit of resistance and then release. Push the big toe into your fingers, create that tension and then release. Push the big toe into your hands, create that little bit of tension and then release. And now we're going to take it into happy baby with that big toe hold. So hang on to that left big toe, float that right foot up, take your right peace fingers, grab hold of the right big toe. Knees are going to come out nice and wide, heels up towards the sky, and then a light and gentle rock side to side. So we're holding onto those big toes. So we're not going to pull too hard in any particular direction, but we are keeping a nice gentle space between the big toe and the second toe. Wonderful. One more little happy baby from side to side, maybe even move your legs a little bit. Any little organic movement here that might feel good as we start to free ourselves up. And then when you feel ready, we're going to release our toe grab, float your legs up, going up to legs up the wall. Once your legs are up, take a couple little points and flex of the feet. Notice how your feet feel now. Notice how the backs of your legs feel now. Notice how your ankles feel. Take it into those claps. So clap the soles of the feet together and then release. Clap the soles of the feet together and then release one more time. Clap the soles of the feet together, release. And now we're going to walk our feet down. So walk on the ceiling, walk on the corner, walk down the wall, walk all the way down to the end of your mat. And then once your feet are down towards the end of your mat, let your heels find the ground. We're going to slide the right leg in. So the right leg is going to slide up in that little half circle scoop. So you're sliding the heel up towards the bum. Drop your right knee in towards your left thigh. Notice how it feels now. Bring it back up, slide it long, reduce all efforting at the bottom. Let the toes fall out, take a breath. Let the toes come back in, slide the left leg up but out. So we slide it out in that little half circle shape. So it's outside of the bum. Let the knee drop in. So left knee towards the right thigh. Pick it back up, slide it out nice and long. Both feet are falling out. Reduce all efforting, pause and take a breath. And now start to ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to just stay exactly as you are and reduce all the more efforting? Would it feel good to grab your blanket, tuck in your toes, maybe grab your sweater, anything that might feel good? Or maybe you change positions. Maybe it feels good to come back to constructive rest, or maybe you want a little something for the hips and take it into reclined cobbler's pose. So pick a position that feels beneficial and just really speaks to what you're looking for this morning. And then once you've found your way there, just give your body a moment to find its way. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. If you feel ready to do so, start by just twinkling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Invite that little bit of gentle movement into those outer edges of your limbs. But then as you do this work here, sort of notice how your skin feels. Notice the skin on your hands. Notice the skin on your feet. And then once you feel like your fingers and your toes have gotten a nice gentle bit of movement, maybe bring it into the wrists and the ankles, just increasing where we're working through the body, but give it time. And then maybe as you do this work here, notice the skin on your wrist, notice the skin on your ankles. Beautiful. And then if your legs were long or if your legs were in a reclined butterfly position, now see if you can step the feet in, coming back towards that constructive rest. And we're going to go back to that brush knee. So we're just going to let the knees brush past each other with a little bit of friction. So we're bringing a little bit of warmth back to that space as we gently brush one knee past the other. Hands rest wherever feels the most comfortable. All right, now the knees are brushing past each other. If it feels good, you're going to go for that little palm flip. So arms in that anatomical position, one palm flips down, one palm flips up. Wonderful. One more palm flip, one more little brush to the knees, and then pull both knees in towards your heart space with a light and gentle squeeze. And then we're going to lift the feet up just enough that we can slip our hands underneath our knee pits, soften the feet down, pause for a moment. That might be enough. If that feels good and you want just that little extra something, squeeze your heels toward your butt. Get that little bit of compression, like you're trying to squish your hands with the knee pit, and then relax, release, and then start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe coming up to Sukhasana, any seated position that feels good, but take your time as you find your way there. And then once you found your way up to that comfortable seated position, we're going to crisscross our fingers and warm up the palms. So you're going to let a little crisscross of the fingers happen. Brush your palms in a nice vigorous fashion. So we create a nice bit of friction, a nice bit of heat in the palms. Let that heat kind of generate up your arms. You might feel that work happening in your shoulders just a little bit. Notice your breath. And then once you feel like your hands are as warm as they could possibly be, we're going to put them around the feet. So anywhere on the feet or the ankles or the toes that might feel good, place your hands on, close your eyes down, take a nice generous breath in. Slow breath out. We're going to keep one hand on the ground. So we're going to ground here. So one hand is going to touch down to the ground with the fingers at least touching the ground. And then the other hand is going to reach up and touch your heart space. So find your handhold. Doesn't matter which, just whichever one feels more comfortable in its place. And then once you're there, just feel that sense of opposition. One hand is grounded on the earth and one hand is grounded at your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Now we're going to switch our hand position. So the other hand is going to touch the ground. The other hand is going to come up to the heart space. Pause for a moment and notice. And then breathe in a little extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with anyone who might need it. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Tuesday. You guys are amazing. Ooh, that was